Good morning. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chum Change. This is live recorded and we're dealing with crashes this morning. This is the third time I've tried to stream. I apologize, guys. I don't know what's going on. So I updated to Windows 11 recently, and apparently, I don't know if it's Brave browser, because as soon as I killed Brave browser, this thing has been working fine. I reinstalled Streamlabs. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, welcome back. We go over crypto news every single day. If you guys haven't already, please consider subscribing, hitting that like button. Appreciate it. We're going to talk about the Karlsen network today. Mr. Tactical Investing actually made a great video, so we're going to kind of rip that apart today and see what's going on there. Then we're going to talk about some coins that have been pumping actually lately, which is Honey Token's one of them, the Hive Mapper, right? And I'm going to be watching this screen, making sure I don't freeze. And if I do, again, I apologize. But Honey Token's been pumping, hit 10 cents yesterday. That's huge. Kaspa's holding amazingly, right? 13.5 cents or so. At least it's almost 14 cents if I'm not mistaken. We have Bitcoin holding over 38K, which is huge. And yeah, I don't know. We're just going to go from there. So wherever the stream takes us, I guess, maybe it's into the dump. I don't know if this thing's going to go down again, but we'll have to find out and see. Anyways, guys, appreciate y'all for hanging out. Let's see who's in the chat. Caveman Mining, Patrick Murphy, Dan R. We have Nick K, Crypto Escort, Toxic Miner, Regilio, what's up, buddy? We have Leo Lustig and David. Good to see you guys. Yes, Fairy Gensler, I'm back. I'm trying to be back. I don't know how this is gonna go. We're gonna see what happens. All right, let's get into the market, see what we're looking like today. We have, as you guys can see, Bitcoin at 38,780, which is pretty amazing. Let's see, Ethereum almost 2,100, literally just under 2,100. Dogecoin 8 cents, a little over 8, just under 8.5. Let's see, Kaspa. All right, Kaspa's at 13.5 right now. It was closer to 14 this morning. ETC was over 19 bucks just before the start of the stream. Well, the first stream. This is the third stream. So yeah, that's how that goes. Solana's at 61 bucks. We have XRP at 61 cents. Look at that. Matic at 80 cents. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Let's check out the week. Looks like Terra Classic is top of the charts, 93.9% up on the week. We have well, this is out of the top 100 coins, obviously. We have IOTA, as you can see, up 53.7 at 27 cents, it says. Check out the day real quick. All right, biggest earner of the day is 40 at 25.2% up, $26.53 according to Crypto Bubbles. I guess IOTA would be in the second place at 22.8% today. Everything looks pretty good, though. Everything looks pretty good. It's all green except for Render. Render's down a little bit, but Render has been freaking on a tear. It's at $3.49. God damn. I wish I just freaking jumped back in like I was going to. Well, you know what? You live and you learn. You can't really dwell over the past. All right, let's get into the Fear and Greed Index. See what we're looking like there. We're at a nice 74. 74 is, it's getting to that point where if things, yeah, I don't know. Things could get fairly greedy. You know, people could be, you push this needle too far, it's gonna go sideways on you and shit's gonna end up dumping at some point, right? So just be mindful. Typically when I get around that, that's when I start to, you know, consider my positions, and maybe it's time to sell, maybe it's not. We'll see. Bitcoin, this is over here, sorry, CoinGecko, top 10 coins. I am all thrown off from this morning's stream. We have a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, XRP, Solana, USDC, Lado Staked Ether, Cardano, and Dogecoin out of the top 10 by coin market cap, again over on CoinGecko. Litecoin is at 19th, Shiba's in 20th, and Bitcoin Cash in 22nd. Let's check. Kaspa is in 28th. As you can see, we have Monero in 26th, which Kaspa did flip at one point, but it's holding below it by under, I guess it's lower than, yeah, it's about 100 million lower, maybe a little less, no, maybe a little more. But regardless, Kaspa's still doing fantastic. Real quick, just because I mentioned it at the beginning, look at this Hive Mapper token. Honey's been killing it. It hit 10 cents yesterday. It's 9 cents right now. I'm absolutely doing a video after this, so I'm gonna go jump in the car. I'm gonna drive around some new streets in the town, and I want to see what my yield is for next Saturday. I'm gonna do that. But yeah, so this is again 10 cents about 9 hours ago. That's freaking nuts, absolutely nuts. So if you guys have a Hive Mapper, good on you guys. Get outside and go do some Christmas shopping, probably a good idea. And then we also have what's the other one? I know this is a big talk lately. These ETC nodes, ETC POW is up $2.37. It hit $2.50, if I'm not mistaken. Just about, yeah, $2.57. Jeez, that friggin' coin is pumping. That's nuts. Anyways, all right, let's see. Let's see who's in the chat quick. Hold on 1 second. Apologize. All right, let me see. Chlor AI. Let's check out that one too, and then we'll get into the news today. Chlor AI, Mr. DJ, has been busting nuts over Chlor AI. I'm not into this coin at all, but anything with an AI is typically going to be a big selling point, right? It is up 43.5%. This is on the day. Holy shit, dude. This coin's been on a tear. You're not joking, bro. Good for you, man. I hope you made a killing on it. So it was at, man, what is it? November 26th. It was at 10 cents. November 26th. This shit is up to 28 cents now. That had a 2x in like a week. That is crazy. That is crazy. Holy hell. Literally a week. It had a almost 3x. Jesus. That is crazy. Sold at 9. Damn, B-Lubs. Damn. Up 9K off one rig. Holy shit, DJ. Good for you, man. Good for you. Well, you know what? I guess that it's a good thing it happened to you, right? Because you did lose a bunch of crypto at one point. So I'm happy that you're making your money back. It's actually a really good thing. That's great. That really is great. I'm glad you got into that. Let's see. Is anybody else into this? Let's see. I'm loving my KS0 Pro. Glad I got it before you. Steven Cicero. Technically, I got 2 behind me. So I think you forgot about that. God. Steven Cicero. Such a jerk. All right. Let's check out Kaspa quick. 13.5 cents. Let's see where we're at earlier. Oh, man. Yeah, see, it's close to, let's see. Is this the day? Yeah, 24 hours. So, yeah, looks like it's, late last night, it did hit 14 cents or got over 14. Yeah, this morning it was pretty close to 14. Crazy though. Kaspa's holding really good, but as max voltage says,
this hash rate's going bonkers.
So be careful about buying new units. I don't think it's a good idea to buy any more units as of right now. With that being said, let's get into the mining segment of this. So we have the WindMiner K9 over at the top of the charts, $215 a day. You know what? That has came down quite significantly, actually. That's came down a lot. This was at $300 the other day. And man, Kaspa's holding 13.5 cents in this K9 WindMiner. 10.3 terahash is only making 215. I say only, but that's, you know what I mean? Like it was 300 the other day. So that is yeah. Mr. Max is not wrong. Max isn't wrong. The KS3, we have $165 a day. The KS2 is making $40 a day. The KS1 still making 20 bucks a day. I mean, nonetheless, this is still a really good yield. It is just, it's one of those things that don't put more money in than you can afford to lose, right? If you want to support the network, that's the reason I bought my KS0s personally. I already purchased a bunch of Kaspa, so I have a decent bag, but I did want to support the network because I do believe that this project is going to go far after, you know, kind of looking into it a bit further and listening to DJ Mine stream. If you guys didn't see that with the devs, I highly recommend you guys listen to it. It kind of opened my eyes a bit. So again, totally worth it, but don't FOMO into buying these machines. That is like the worst thing you could do, especially right now, just because the prices are way too freaking high. The yield's going to be a bit less by the time you get them. You're probably going to be waiting until after Christmas, to be honest, because I got the end of November batch, and I'm supposed to not get mine until December 6th, and I guess they're behind as of right now. So just be careful that yeah, you're probably going to be getting them a bit late if you do purchase now, and they are way more expensive than they were a couple weeks ago. Ice River KS0 Pro, we're looking at $4.10 a day. We have the X16Q, which is heating my house upstairs. ETC and ZIL is the biggest profitability here instead of Octaspace, what we've seen on the X4Qs, making $5.41 a day. Let's see if Octaspace is still, yep, X4Q Octaspace still top of the charts on this one, which is kind of interesting. I wonder why. I wonder how big of a difference it is between ETC and ZIL on the X16Q and Octaspace. That'd be a cool test actually to find out. $1.63 a day on that one. We have the X41U again, Octaspace here. $6. I wish. 68 cents rather. Let's check out Octaspace real quick, just to see what this price is at, and then we'll get into this. And real quick, I highly apologize to Crypto Mikkel. If he is live, can you guys please go over there and at least say hi, smash the like button, give him some love. I feel so bad that I'm like overlapping, but my stream failed 3 times. So this is the 3rd time we're getting into this. And I just apologize. 81 cents over here, Octaspace. And that's, I mean, honestly, this coin's been doing pretty good. Pretty decent. Not going to lie. But I don't know the fundamentals around it, to be honest. But it has been profitable, and I made some money off of it when I did swap into that. As of right now, real quick, my coins are going to unMineable. As you can see, I have all my stuff on Kaspa. Basically, everything's just auto converting to Kaspa. So I think it's the best way to do it. If you guys are going to mine Kaspa, just throw some of your stuff over here to unMineable. You guys can use the code CCXD if you'd like. If not, use your own. I think it works. I don't know. Might not. Who knows? All right, so let's get into the news today. See what's going on over here. Yahoo Finance starts talking about Bitcoin exceeding 38,000, extending a rally through November into December, which is kind of neat. It's usually a down month. Let's see what's going on here.
Also here, we're watching Bitcoin today, passing $38,000 and that mark, psychological level as it may be. We will see. Investors are keeping, though, a continued rally, eyeing a continued rally to push the asset over 40,000. That's definitely a psychological.
As you guys know, this is yesterday's, this is about 12 hours ago or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Level. We've got our own
Maybe
Jared Blickery tracking its moves this morning. Jared, good to see you. What's the potential here for more growth for crypto, especially with those potential ETFs in focus?
Well, I think the potential here is that we're all going to be potentially.
That was loud as hell. That scared the shit out of me. I jumped.
Wearing our Dow, Bitcoin 40,000 hats. Dust those off. We had those on a few years ago, got all the way up to about 68, 69,000. But I want to focus on what's happened over the last month. Then we can get to what's happening in December. Bitcoin up 8%, Ethereum up 12.5%. Let me show you, because we had this monster rally in.
Real quick, before he gets into the monster rally, I just put Mr. Crypto McKell's channel link in the live chat. So if you guys could go over there, just show him some love, hit the like button, subscribe to him, please. I apologize for overlapping. I really wasn't trying to do that to anybody.
Risk over the last 30 days. ARK was actually up 31%. Meme stocks, that ETF 20%. Bitcoin all the way down here, 8%. So not even breaking a sweat, I would say. And let's get back to some of the charts. Bitcoin is interesting right here, and then I'm going to show you what's really interesting in Ethereum. So here's Bitcoin. We got that big, potentially God candle-like status that some people are saying.
What did you say, God candle? I call that a boner candle. Look at that thing.
Bitcoin, we got that big, potentially God candle-like status that some people are saying, are attributing to it. And then we have this flag that is actually pointing upwards. Usually when you have a little bit of a consolidation, it points downward, but this is there's a lot of buying pressure here. And let's take a look at Ethereum. This is at an important high here. We had this high over in April, and now we are flagging and looking like we want to push above that. Given the consolidation, this could easily hit 2,500. That's Ethereum pretty quickly. And let's take a look at what has happened in crypto stocks over the last month. Coinbase, you can see that's up about 61%, Block up 57% with...
Wait, didn't Cathie Wood sell a whole bunch of Coinbase stock?
Admittedly, a little bit less crypto exposure, backed up 50%, and the list goes on. Marathon Digital, that's another one investors track. That's up about 35%. But just thinking about the leaders this year, I said that Bitcoin is in the lower end of the pack. But when you look at the year-to-date totals, guess what? Bitcoin up 130%, New York FANG, which is a good proxy for the Magnificent Seven, that's up 85%, and then you go down the list. So really interesting to think that at the beginning of this year, with FTX in the rearview mirror and all the chaos, who would have thought that Bitcoin would have been the leading asset class?
Not I.
Everybody except for you guys over at Yahoo Finance. Shout out to Yahoo Finance for that. All right, let's get into crypto world, see what's going on. Actually, real quick, before we do that, somebody asked, what is a good CPU mineable coin? So I heard that this Zeph coin, I'm not into this, to be honest, but I heard that Zeph was a pretty good CPU mineable coin, if I'm not mistaken. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I got out of CPU mining. I'm not doing that ish anymore. XMR is another one, but it's not, that did not go to XMR. It did not get, you're not going to make a lot on XMR, to be honest, when you're CPU mining this. If you want, though, you can, let me go back to unMineable. You can go to unMineable and actually use your CPU to point to basically any of these coins. Anything that's on this list. You just use whatever it is, random X algorithm, and mine right to this. So feel free to check that out. Again, unMineable.com, no affiliation with them, but that is pretty amazing. All right, crypto world, let's get into this, see what they got to say over here. CNBC television, let's do it.
Today, Bitcoin hits its highest level since May of 2022. The SEC meets with Grayscale and BlackRock about potential spot Bitcoin ETFs, and Grayscale's chief legal officer discusses those plans to convert its Bitcoin and Ethereum trusts into ETFs.
Oh boy. Mr. Fully Electric says get off Zeph. Anything Fully Electric says, I agree with, actually.
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Talia Kaplan. Crypto
Oh yeah, Veriscoin. Veriscoin's another one. I'm mining my cell phones, actually.
prices in the green to kick off December. As of noon Eastern, Bitcoin and Ether both rose more than 3%, with Bitcoin trading close to $39,000. Today, the cryptocurrency hit its highest level since May of 2022. Ether traded around $2,100 this afternoon, and Solana climbed nearly 2%, trading above $60. For the week, Bitcoin's up more than 2.5%, on pace for back-to-back weekly gains. The cryptocurrency gained more than 13% last month. Ether is up nearly 1% for the week after rising 17.5% in November. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. MicroStrategy bought thousands more Bitcoin in November. According to a filing with the SEC yesterday, the technology company, which is the largest corporate holder of the cryptocurrency, bought more than 16,000 coins last month, worth about $593 million. The filing said the latest haul brings MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings to just under 175,000, worth approximately $5.2 billion at an average price of $30,000 per Bitcoin. Next, Kathy Wood.
Listen, guys, hit the like button, will you? At least for this lady. I know you guys like her outfit today, Crypto Frank. You guys are a bunch of perverts. Just kidding.
ARK Invest is offloading more of its holdings in Coinbase. According to ARK trade notifications, the investment firm sold around 37,000 shares of the crypto platform stock. That's worth a little less than $4.7 million based on Thursday's closing price. Now, at the same time ARK is selling its Coinbase holdings, the stock has been steadily rising. It reached a new 2023 high in the middle of Friday's trading session. Finally, the SEC is formally engaging with asset managers, including Grayscale and BlackRock, ahead of the much-anticipated decision on whether the regulator will approve a spot Bitcoin ETF. That's according to memos published this week. One memo reveals that SEC officials met with representatives from BlackRock and the Nasdaq on Tuesday. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, filed for a Bitcoin ETF back in June. Another memo revealed the agency also met with Grayscale, the asset manager running the world's largest Bitcoin fund, about the potential conversion of its Bitcoin trust into an ETF. The SEC previously blocked the move, but Grayscale challenged that decision in court and won back in August. Many industry experts think that crypto ETFs will launch in the US early next year, but of course, the SEC could still decide to block those funds. As we all know, SEC Chair Gary Gensler has been a vocal critic of crypto, but recently said that he would listen to his staff's input on a potential Bitcoin ETF. All right, sticking with Grayscale for our main story. Crypto World's Tanea McKeel sat down with the asset manager's chief legal officer, Craig Somm, at the 2023 Blockchain Association's Policy Summit in Washington, D.C. He laid out what he thinks will happen with Grayscale's plans to convert its Bitcoin and Ether trusts into ETFs and discusses crypto regulation. Take a listen.
All right, Craig, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. We're coming
Am I wearing blue jeans right now? No, they're like black, Mr. DJ.
up to the end of the year, and we have a lot of tailwinds going into 2024. Obviously, one of the biggest catalysts for the crypto market
I'd show you, I'm not that flexible though.
over the last few months has been around the ETF, and you are such a key player at Grayscale in that narrative. Give me an update on, we know that you've been meeting with the SEC and hearing a lot more about their engagement with the industry. Give me an update.
Absolutely. So it's great to be here with you tonight at the Blockchain Association Policy Summit in DC. Following our lawsuit victory back in August, where a DC Circuit Court panel of 3 judges agreed with our case that if the commission is okay with Bitcoin futures, then they should be treating spot Bitcoin ETFs the same. We've seen very good progress on the SEC front, ourselves as well as other applicants. So right now, we're back in front of Trading and Markets. That's a division of the SEC that reviews the Form 19B4 application that would uplist our product, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, onto the New York Stock Exchange. So seeing a lot of good engagement there. Also on the corporation finance side of the SEC, who reviews disclosures, we filed something called an S3, which is what would register GBTC under the 33 Act. That's one of the other requirements in order for it to operate as an ETF. Seeing really good progress there. We filed an initial filing and have since filed an amendment to that, just updating disclosures based on comments we got from corporation finance. So a lot of good constructive engagement from the SEC. We feel really good about spot Bitcoin ETFs happening. It's a matter of when at this point, not a matter of if anymore.
Yeah, it really does seem like, I don't know that it's fully priced in or anything, but there seems to be a lot of confidence that it is a matter of when and not if. We hear a lot about Ether ETFs now, and several funds have come out, saying that they've got applications in to launch an Ether ETF when, things are in place to allow that. What are the prospects, as you see it, for ETFs around other crypto assets, like Solana, for example?
Yeah, so I think with Ethereum, at this point in time, you have very similar facts and circumstances as it relates to ETFs as you do for Bitcoin. We now have CME traded Ethereum futures. That is a regulated and surveilled market for Ethereum. And that really has shown to be one of the key thresholds in order to get the commission comfortable with an ETF product. We now have ETH futures ETFs that started trading in the US. That was back in October. And actually on that very same day when that product started trading, we filed to convert our other product, Grayscale Ethereum Trust, ETHE, into a spot Ethereum ETF. The reason why we did that is because our view, like it was for Bitcoin, is that if the commission is okay with Ethereum futures, they now should be comfortable with spot Ethereum ETFs. So
The real reason is because of money. They want more money.
that is a 19B4 filing that we now have out as well, and that'll come due sometime next year.
How do you see performance changing for these derivatives-based ETFs, given that we hear so much about how superior these spot ETFs will be to, say, the Bitcoin futures or the ETF or the Ether futures ETFs? What do you see happening to activity in the derivatives-based funds later?
Yeah, I think it's a question of what product structure is better for what particular investor. There are certain those that would like to access the markets through a futures-based product, but we feel that all else equal, the spot versions of the products are really more efficient and therefore better for investors. And the reason for that is because you're holding the actual asset itself, as opposed to holding a future, which comes with additional costs like rolling month to month. With the spot version of the product, you're just holding the asset in custody, and therefore that minimizes costs and ultimately is better for the end investor.
Regulation has been one of the biggest themes of this year. It looks like that's going to remain the case going into 2024. Do you see it as more of a headwind or a tailwind for the crypto market? Obviously, whatever happens with a Bitcoin ETF and when we finally get to see that is going to be a great thing for the industry and for the market. There's a lot at play, though, in terms of the state of regulation in crypto. What's your outlook?
Yeah, so with the spot Bitcoin ETF, that is a really good positive step forward for regulation over Bitcoin and really over crypto, because what you're doing is bringing the largest digital asset further into the regulatory perimeter by having it trade on a national securities exchange with regulation and surveillance. And I think that'll be really progressive for the whole industry. But in terms of regulation, we're often talking about more regulatory clarity. That's something that we think we have been able to get through the courts with our lawsuit and other lawsuits that are playing out. But for the long term, we really have to look to Congress for legislation that'll bring even more clarity for the industry overall. So right now, there's two bills that have passed the House Financial Services Committee and House Agriculture Committee for the first time. There's a bill called the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Bill, or the FIT 21 bill. You can think of that based on the substance, which is to focus on digital asset market structure. That is things like how we regulate custodians and exchanges and brokers and dealers. How do we classify certain assets as commodities versus securities? That's the kind of comprehensive legislation that we need to bring this industry forward. The other bill is a stablecoin bill, which focuses on a very prominent and really easy to understand use case in crypto that I think a lot of members of Congress are very readily able to grasp. So both those bills have made it through committee, and that's the first time we've ever seen that. So that is a huge amount of progress that happened for the industry. Next steps there, they get voted at the House and then make their way up to Senate. Unclear whether it'll ultimately pass in this Congress or next, but definitely a good development.
Yeah.
We're going to get into the Karlsen coin stuff in a few. Just wanted to obviously get through the news of the day. There's a couple more minutes of this, but real quick, Mrs. Pocket Change asking me a question in the chat saying, should she buy Chlor? That's my wife for anybody that doesn't know. So you don't want to, at least my opinion, I don't buy coins that are at their all-time high. Like, there is no point, right? If you're going to chase something, it's okay to miss the boat. Like, that's kind of the whole thing I'm getting at here. It's okay to miss the boat and to accept the fact that you missed the boat on that, rise. But when it gets to a peak moment and you're buying in, that's called FOMO. That's the whole, reason of that term. Fear of missing out, right? It's okay if you missed out. It's not a big deal because it will come back or it could keep going. You never know. But there's going to be other coins that you can jump into. You don't have to blow your whole wad on one coin because it pumped. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense.
It's a really long and tedious process, and it sounds like there's a little bit more urgency behind the stablecoin bill. Maybe not so much urgency, but it seems like the market structure bill is just a lot more complex.
There's a difference, Crypto KJ, between my FOMO and the Ice Rivers. I got them at a good price. They're almost double that price now.
What would get in the way? Like, why wouldn't one of them pass in 2024?
I think I agree with your analysis that the stablecoin bill is just simpler, it's easier to comprehend, and therefore, all else equal, you would think would have a smoother time passing versus the market structure bill, which has a lot more components and is a lot more comprehensive. I think at this point, crypto has proven to be a nonpartisan issue, and you have members on both sides of the aisle that really want to see legislation pass. There's a lot of factors that play. Next year is an election year, and there's going to be a lot of other things to think about. But I'm optimistic that eventually we will see this, but I don't know if it'll be next year or the year after.
Obviously, crypto has been asking for clear rules of the road for so long, and it seems like, even though there's a ways to go, regulators are more engaged with the industry than they've ever been, which is a good thing. Do you see that engagement kind of dropping off later in the year, next year, because it's an election year and other campaign priorities will start to rise to the top a little bit more?
I think quite the contrary. You're seeing a lot of candidates right now come out with statements about Bitcoin and crypto. And crypto, as I mentioned, is a nonpartisan issue because on the Democratic side, a lot of folks see the benefits of financial inclusion and democratizing finance, whereas on the Republican side, those folks see the benefits of open markets and removing intermediaries and reducing costs. So I think there's value that both sides of the aisle see to it. And we have seen some candidates come out with explicit statements about where they think the industry should be going. So I take a lot of hope from that.
God damn, Mr. Crypto Frank, appreciate you, buddy.
Perfect.
Appreciate it very much for the 20 gifted memberships. I'm not going to read everybody out, but congrats to everybody that won. I actually, you know what? I got to do a giveaway at some point. I got to do hash rate giveaway on my KS Zeros. So stay tuned for that. I'll do that for members only at some point today. I don't know. I might just pay you guys in Kaspa. It might be easier. I'll just give you the Kaspa. It's probably a good idea. I'll probably just pick 2 people to give Kaspa to. Makes sense. We'll do that. All right, let's finish this up and then we'll get into the Karlsen stuff.
Do you think it comes up as an issue next year in November? I think, we talked to a lot of crypto insiders, the 2 of us, but I think to most people sitting on the outside, it kind of looks like there are just so many more important things than this very young, nascent industry that, it really is early. So I think perspective is interesting because we have come so far, but to most people, it's still so early in the game.
I think that's a reason why it should and can be a topic of discussion because
we are still extremely early in the game. Again, Crypto Frank, you're awesome. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate the support.
It is very early, but it's also an opportunity that we don't want to squander by having other parts of the world be the first mover on that. I often think about how fortunate we are that Silicon Valley is in the US and we've received all the benefits of that wave of technology and innovation. And I think a lot of candidates and policymakers really want to make sure that the Silicon Valley of this industry can also be here in the US. So for me, I think it is definitely a topic that will come up in the election. So we'll have to see, in 2024.
Shout out to crypto world. All right, let's get out of that because I am sick of the news today. All right, let's get into videos. So again, huge shout out to this guy, Tactical Investing. He actually does talk about Mr. Red Panda Mining and Mr. Rabid Mining here, guys. If you're not subscribed to him, go check him out. He's in the description below. But he gets into the Karlsen network and kind of just rips into like what it's about basically and everything behind it. But before we get into that, I just want to show you, like, this is their site. And that's it. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like it's I don't know. It says we are a fork of the Kaspa network with ASIC resistance. We are a community-driven project. No ICO, no pre-mine. I heard last night there was a pre-mine. I don't know how true that is, but I heard there was. So I'm not gonna say it's true or not. I have no idea. So if anybody can confirm or whatever, please let me know. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of forked projects. It's not anything against this project in particular. It's just the fact that these coins or these projects that come out of the blue, they're trying to live off the hype of something else. Like, look at, you know, Shiba and Dogecoin. How many bullshit Shiba, Inu, Dogecoin, like, what is it, like Elon Mars, like all this other shit. Like, there's so many just spin-offs of those type of coins. I don't really like when other cryptos do this. It's just weird to me. I don't know how you guys feel about it. But anyways, let's get into this, kind of talk about this with Mr. I don't even know his name, actually. Just Tactical Investing, this guy. He's actually really good. So let's get into this.
So what is Karlsen Network? You've probably heard a lot of people talk about it. You've probably seen some other YouTubers do videos on it. And at this point, you're either in one of two fields, or maybe you're in a third camp. But either you believe it's real and you think this is an opportunity to get in on the ground floor of the next Kaspa, or you think it is a complete scam, or you're in the third camp and you're like, what the heck's happening right now? What is this thing? I don't even know. I haven't had enough time to research, and I'm here for the video so I can learn about it. So if you're in either one of those three, you've come to the right place, because essentially we're going to break down the protocol in today's video. If you're new here, my name is Alex. Talk about crypto news, crypto passive income. If you enjoy content like that, consider subscribing. You enjoyed this video and you love Kaspa, the real Kaspa, smash the like. Without further ado,
Let's do it.
let's move the video.
Skip forward a little
End of my
bit.
video, I briefly talked about Karlsen Network, and a lot of people obviously asking, what the heck is Karlsen Network? Is it real? Is it fake? Is it a fraud? Is it a scam? Is it going to be pumping? Is it going to do 1000x? Like, people are really asking themselves, what is this thing? And a lot of people I've seen also say, hey, where can I buy Karlsen Network? And so this is
I want you guys to all be aware, please, that this is extremely speculative, right? You guys have to take it with a grain of salt. I don't recommend FOMOing in, but at the same time, if it does have a decent run up and it is a decent project, you know, overall it could potentially make you have a lot of gains, right? So just, I don't know, just don't go too heavy into something you don't know much about. So make sure you guys pay attention and either do your own research or try to find the facts, right? That's the biggest thing here.
if you, and this is just in general, no one can really go and buy Karlsen Network token right now. But who's getting Karlsen token right now? And let's just say, hypothetically, just a very, so much of a hypothetical, it's not even funny. Let's just go to Fantasyland and consider the fact that Karlsen Network comes out major devs, really confident protocol. It comes out and does everything fantastically. The people who got in early are the miners. Right now, the only people that are getting Karlsen token are those who are mining it, and everybody else is on the sideline waiting for a centralized exchange listing.
Facts. Also, real quick, Mr. Steven Cicero, before at the beginning of the last stream where we had like 2 failed streams this morning, he said in the chat that so Yeti, our man Yeti over in Misfit Mining Discord, did do an audit on the wallet, and I guess there was some issues with it. So make sure you guys download this on a VM if you're going to do that. But I guess he talked to the dev or something, and he's willing to address the issues with the wallet itself. So that's a positive step in the right direction, right? And again, like I said, there is a potential possibility you guys could make a decent amount off this coin, right? But at the same time, it's a risk. It's brand new. We don't know much about it. Website's ass. Just being real. Just be cautious. That's all I got to say.
Consider how funny that is when it comes to there's no centralized exchange to list the token, but who's getting the token? It's the miners. So if you're considering getting in early is by mining it. That is why so many of those individuals in the mining industry are so successful, because while everybody else is sitting on the sidelines waiting for something to get listed on a central exchange, the miners are currently mining it and accumulating. Now, like I said, we're out of that hypothetical, but that is the pure aspect, and doesn't just attribute just to Karlsen network. There's going to be another protocol that launches that specifically is not on a centralized exchange, but is available to those who are mining it, and those are accumulating. So
actually, is anybody here mining it right now? Because I'd like to know what the yields are. Are the yields very good? Let me know. I'm really interested, because I might get a moon bag inside of a VM at some point going today. Just why not? You know, if it's worth putting one rig on it, but it's not worth, like, you know, again, putting all your rigs on it. Just be careful. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see where this goes.
A little bit of a rant, but a lot of people like to talk down proof of work, and this is a perfect example. Hopefully Karlsen is a success.
It would be nice to see Ethereum levels on some sort of crypto again. You know what I mean?
A cryptocurrency will always win those, and will always get in much earlier than those who go in and buy it on a centralized exchange. So just prove a point. But anyway, I talked about this briefly in my video yesterday, and there was a lot of mixed comments. Some people saying, you know, I think there's some potential. Some people saying this is just, you know, this is a joke. There's only one hashtag, which I completely agree. But, and a lot of people are just simply confused. And essentially,
holy shit, Mr. Nerdbeast in the chat said I got 7 gigahash on it. Getting about 1K a day fluctuates a lot because of people getting in. Real quick, now, how does the hash rate, is the hash rate like crazy numbers like Kaspa? Could you guys let me know that? 80 to 100 per day with an RTX 3070. Interesting. Okay.
A whole idea behind Karlsen network is onefold, and that is to bring back the power of Kaspa, quote unquote, to GPU miners.
Which is
awesome.
awesome.
To give you a very brief comparison as to why would someone in, maybe it's a group of someone's that went out of the way to start and fork Kaspa to start Karlsen network. So to give you a very brief comparison, back in 2022, when I was mining Kaspa, I had about 30 GPUs. I had a 3 gigahash farm. Now, recently, and in fact today, I had 2 KS0 Pros that came in. They're each 200 gigahash. So to give you a comparison, it would have taken 1,800 GPUs to match 1 KS0 Pro today on the Kaspa network, which in my mind is absolutely insane. Consider the fact that 1,800 GPUs, and let's just say they're on average of $500, would have been an investment of nearly $1 million that you can get right now for 750 bucks. That is the comparison of,
can you imagine? That's crazy.
How much Kaspa has progressed in just the matter of a year. So for that reason, a lot of GPU miners, a lot of people who GPU mined Kaspa very early on were probably a little bit upset when Kaspa now became ASIC mineable. And then GPU mining Kaspa is pretty much history. So this is essentially...
Real quick, Bitcoin Andy, I currently got 134090 rigs on it. 53.365 gigahashes yielding 7 to 8K a day. Neat. That's very neat.
The entire story, background story of why Karlsen network exists in the first place. They're a fork of the Kaspa network with ASIC resistance is essentially what they are. Now, it was very early, and their entire reasoning is, why did we fork? You can tell the English is really good here. And they said Kaspa is a gem. Now, if you go to the official website now, they don't have that there anymore. They're a fork of Kaspa with ASIC resistance. And then what motivated them to fork, and then they go in a little bit more detail. But a lot of people are talking about this. Son of a Tech did a video on starting a wallet. Red Panda Mining has a few of his GPUs on
Red Panda's doing this in a VM, by the way, just so you guys know.
The likes of Karlsen Network. You see Rapid Mining
He's not
getting
stupid.
involved in Karlsen Network. And so I want to preface this by stating that yes, you're going to see some of your popular, some of your favorite YouTubers talk about how they're mining Karlsen
Actually,
Network.
look, he says it right there. Yeti audited the Karlsen Network, and then he tagged the website. But yeah, so he has this inside of a VM mining, so he's not going to be, you know, ruining his network or giving himself a virus. But yeah, if you guys don't trust the wallet, definitely do like a virtual machine of some sort.
But those same individuals have a lot of experience. They have a lot of know-how when it comes to mining, spec mining more specifically, brand new launched cryptocurrency projects. It's extremely high risk, and I wouldn't recommend doing it. One, you should not do it on a personal computer. You should only do it on a computer that you have no personal information on. And if you really want to go the extra safe route, you do it on a virtual machine. So just my 2 cents, I'd be extremely careful if I was you. And this is not me saying, trying to keep you out of it, but this is just me saying this because I've heard nightmare stories of spec mineable cryptos before in the past that have really had some terrible firmware, have terrible viruses on them, and have really done personal damage to people's livelihoods. So
yeah, we've seen that time and time again where they have like viruses inside their wallets where they can basically, you know, get into your other core wallets that are on that same PC. Kazuma, I disagree, to be honest. So he said in the chat, I prefer CPU mining. GPUs and ASICs are not for home mining, in my opinion. Yeah, so I mean, I respectfully disagree to a point, right? There is a point where you get too big for your own house, right? With mining and electric and all that stuff. So there is, you know, that side of things. But to be honest, you're not yielding nearly as much with CPUs as you would with a regular GPU rig or something along those lines.
with that out of the way, this is the website. There's not a whole lot of information. That's the problem with Karlsen Network. Because it's so new, we were talking about 2 weeks, there's not a lot out there. But we do know they are a fork of Kaspa with ASIC resistance, a community-driven project. There's no ICO and there's no pre-mine. This is something that we've seen.
Again, I want to know if that's actually true. No ICO, no pre-mine. I mean, the ICO maybe, but someone said it to me last night that there was a big pre-mine on it, and I don't remember who it was, to be honest. But I don't know. That kind of made me a little iffy about it. But I mean, here it says no, so I don't know.
No ICO, no pre-mine as something that's been hot topics. In fact, a lot of the recent proof of work projects that have pumped and have done extremely well have no ICOs and no pre-mines. It's one of the things that people like about Kaspa being a fair launch. And
in the chat, Kazuma said, Chump Change, talking about difficulty. I don't like high spikes, fast runs. I like slow and growth to accumulate and spec mine, or mine in peace rather. So yeah, that's I mean, that's growing at your own pace, right? Like when you get to a point where you guys, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys are in this situation, right? Where we spent all this money on GPUs or mining rigs in general. And at some point it's like, why did I continue to just keep buying stuff and buying stuff? Like, you get burnt out, more or less. It's kind of like making YouTube videos. You get burnt out when you do it like consistently over and over and over and over. It gets old after a while, right? So like the slow and steady pace makes sense for a lot of people, right? But it's probably because you FOMO'd in at one point and it's just, you know, it gets you. It gets to you after a while. That's just how it is.
And essentially, the other thing that you have to consider is, outside of the things that we do know about Karlsen Network, the things we don't know is we don't have a roadmap. We don't have a quote unquote white paper, even though they would say that.
Oh, there it is. Crypto KJ said, I said it. They pre-mined for a week to test the network, in quotations. That's all I gotta say.
Their approach is similar.
Wait, for a week? Like, how many GPUs? Was it like one, or was it like a shit ton? Because if it was a shit ton, there's no chance that shit ain't in a wallet somewhere.
And exactly to the likes of Kaspa.
That's crazy.
They would reference back to the Nakamoto consensus, which we'll talk about in just a second.
Yeah, that's us.
But essentially, there's really not enough known about Karlsen Network to really consider it to be a good or bad project, outside of it just being brand new. And
I agree with what he just said. There's no way to know if it's a good or a bad project just because it's so new.
Thing that I would personally recommend when doing research is research into what forks are. There's soft forks, there are hard forks. And I would recommend that you do your research onto what happens when something like this occurs. Are forks oftentimes successful? I'll give you the down low on that one. No, forks are oftentimes complete failures. And so please be very careful, do your research, and definitely understand what a fork is before diving into Karlsen Network. If you want to follow them, they have a Twitter, they have a Telegram, they have a Discord. So if you want to keep in the know of what's happening, probably going to be a couple of great socials to start. They also reference the Phantom Ghost Egg as pretty much their white paper and really the thesis behind the protocol, which
they don't even have their own white paper. What? Really? That's crazy. Crypto KJ said the history has been pruned now, like what Kaspa does, so you can't tell. Oh, you can't go back and check it. That sucks.
Funny enough, Jonathan is the one mentioned and one of the contributors to this. So it just shows how much of this is a simple copy and shows, at least in my opinion, why something like Karlsen Network will never live to the expectation, not nearly even close to the likes of Kaspa. You can't.
That's not a bad point, actually. Dan R just said, just like Ice River doing the KS0 Pro system testing in quotations for a month before shipping.
Replace Kaspa.
Yeah, I get it.
You can't replace. You can't create another Jonathan. You can't create another Deshi. There's certain things you can't replace the entire developer team behind Kaspa. So that's the thing, is even though you're going to see people talk about Karlsen Network, even though it's going to try its best to be as close to Kaspa as much as possible, it'll never be Kaspa. And that's...
Oh, you know what? Nerd Beast just made a great point in the chat, actually. He just said, Andrew Masada, I'm not saying it's legit or not. He said, I have no idea. I'm just pointing out that Kaspa got the same amount of hate around here. I remember a lot of your favorite YouTubers saying Kaspa was a scam. And I think, honestly, I think you're right. Because I didn't look at Kaspa at all. And now I'm a huge fanboy. Like, I didn't look at it at all. And it was one of those coins where, like, okay, another shit coin came out. I'm not going to jump on it right now. There's no point. And it was my mistake. It was my loss. So there is always that chance that, yeah, it's a good coin to mine. But there's also that chance that it could be a giant rug. So flip a coin and choose your side. That's pretty much how it goes, you know?
That's the underlying message of this video. But if you do want to spec mine, I'll leave a video down below. Couple of videos.
And I'm gonna be honest, like the reason this is so like iffy to me is just the fact that, again, it's trying to live off something else's hype. Okay, it sees Kaspa's doing well, and that's you know, without a doubt, it's doing fantastic, and it sees that, right? So this project came out to grasp those people that are missing the fact that that are having the FOMO feeling about Kaspa. They want to be able to, like, I guess, project that on you guys with this coin. Like, hey, maybe you could get a bunch of money out of this. So, like, that's kind of one of those things. Like, again, nothing against this project. I don't know if it's legit or not. It would be nice to see Ethereum level, you know, profitability for GPU miners again, but at the same time, it's trying to build off hype of something else, and that's my red flag personally. That's just me.
If you want to get involved, like I said, it's extremely high risk, but this is a great in-depth deep dive by Bo Kiko. I hope I pronounced that right. Going into all this, talking about some of the things that are good, some of the things that are not good, and it just gives a general deep dive into this thing that everyone's talking about. Now, one of the things that has surprised me overall is the amount of mining pools and the level of adoption Karlsen Network has received in just a short period of time. I've never seen so many mining pools allow and create the infrastructure to allow the mining of a brand new cryptocurrency project.
Well, that comes down to the fact that it's living off Kaspa's hype, right? They know people are going to get it. They know it's going to be profitable for the pool, so it makes sense.
This fast,
right?
Which I think surprised a lot of people. But in the end, it is completely speculative. There's also been an audit. I would consider this to be a very basic audit. This is not anything in depth, nothing to the degree that I wouldn't make my decisions on getting involed based on this audit.
Wow, he actually shows Yeti's site. That's funny. I didn't watch this whole video.
If you look at 55% confidence, people have asked, like, what does this actually mean? Karlsen, with the likes of Karlsen Network and Yeti is still learning. So it's an AI protocol. So there's a lot of things that it's not able to compare Karlsen network to other protocols in order to do as much comparing and contrasting on what is good, what is not good, and then be able to therefore change its level of confidence in either direction. So something to consider. There are the basic details right now that you can see some of the statistics. You can see the network hash rate. The network hash rate right now is
Real quick before he gets into that, Fully Electric said CCXD, it's like ETH to ETHW or ETHF, but both did not go anywhere. And I mean, that could definitely be a possibility for sure. Let me see. What's the use case for this new project? I honestly have no idea. Because Kaspa is typically, they want it to be the money of the future, right? Which is like, you know, Kaspa means silver in like ancient Arabic or something, right? If I'm not mistaken. So there's like a reason behind Kaspa, and it's kind of it's neat listening to them talk about it, but we haven't heard much about this coin, so I don't know. I don't know. I mean, realistically, like I really do hope this just makes GPU mining profitable, because I have a whole bunch of GPUs that are off. So I'm not a hater in any way. I hope this works out. I hope it's totally legit, right? And it actually makes a bunch of money, but it's very new. So if you want to get a moon bag, just be safe doing it and don't put too much into it. Do you know what I mean? Just be realistic about it. Not all your eggs in one basket type deal.
Is around 28.7 terahash. We'll talk about that in just a second. They do have tokenomics. I'll leave a link to this down below. Essentially, their tokenomics is very, very similar to the likes of Kaspa.
I was just going to ask that.
But
Makes
the
sense.
mission schedule is a bit lower. So they actually have on this, they have a very similar kind of comparison. They have slower emissions. Kaspa had much faster emissions very early on. So you can see with Kaspa, the emissions happen much faster.
That's Kaspa.
This
That's
slows that curve
okay.
down a little bit. It's really the major difference.
Well, that's kind of a big deal, I guess, right? Between the two, right? You can see Kaspa, the curve is much greater than Karlsen, so it would be a little bit more, profitable,
Faster,
I guess.
This slows
Right for us for
that
longer.
curve down a little bit. It's really the major difference. You can also see the network hash rate comparison. If you go over to a Wooly Pulley, you can see this a little bit better. The network hash rate has grown by 30% in 24 hours. So the amount of people turning on GPUs or switching GPUs to mining Karlsen network is growing at insane speeds, at least in my opinion. To give you a comparison, a 2080 Ti, because I tested this on one of my computers, it's used for literally nothing. I don't have any personal information on it, but I wanted to do a test and just kind of figure out what if I can look into some of the basic details of Karlsen. And so my 2080 Ti, without really tuning it all too much, gave out about 930 to 988 mega hash. Now, if I'm just using the very low spectrum of this, because 27 terahash is 20, I don't know what this is. Let me see in the calculator. Is 27 million mega hash. So if we divide this by, let's just say everybody out there was running 2080 Ti's. That's close to 30,000 GPUs currently mining Karlsen network. That, in my opinion,
That's crazy.
if you do the numbers per comparison, that means 10,000 GPUs came online today to mine Karlsen network. That's a lot of GPUs. Now, it's minuscule to the scale of the overall GPUs mining currently, but for something that has an anonymous team, that doesn't have a roadmap, that really doesn't have a real world use case, it's astonishing the level of growth this has received for really not being much of anything other than something to appeal to GPU miners. And that, in my opinion, is the true story behind Karlsen network. Will it be successful? I don't know. We've seen before on most projects that are forks, they're not successful or nowhere near the level of success of the original protocol they're attempting to mimic. And in the end, this is not in the closest form anything to the likes of Kaspa. It will never come close to Kaspa. It will never be close to the quality of Kaspa. In my opinion, this is more of a distraction than anything. And this is what I kind of mentioned in my video yesterday. I think for a period of time, there's going to be this hype around Karlsen network. It's going to take a little bit of the limelight from Kaspa. But in the end, nothing simply will compare. That's just my 2 cents.
I honestly agree with him. Yeah, I really do. I do agree with that. In all honesty, it's one of those things, man. Just take it with a grain of salt, and yeah, I mean, do what you guys want to do. Just be careful. All right, yeah. So, Mr. Serpent, we're gonna be raiding you in a second. I actually had 3 failed streams this morning because my Streamlabs on Windows 11, I thought it was Streamlabs. I actually ended up uninstalling it, reinstalling it, and killing Brave Browser because Brave Browser and Streamlabs were, as a combo, just completely freezing my stream. So, yeah, that sucks. But anyways, I don't know. You guys be careful mining the new coin. It's not that it's, you know, a bad coin. Just be careful with the wallet. Be cautious of possible rug pull or possible just huge dump. We don't know. Again, it's a new coin. You don't know the facts until you get the facts, right? So we're just gonna have to see. Let's see. Site is very big, going for a bit. Okay, no worries, Crypto Frank. No worries. I know Terra Hosting is getting into their ASIC reselling, so we're gonna see how that goes. I was gonna show it off if it was ready, guys. That like button, appreciate you all. All right, do you have any questions? Let's talk about some stuff. You guys have anything to talk about real quick before we get out of here and raid Mr. Serpent? I think he's going live in a second. Let me just scroll through the chat, see if I missed anything. Oh, Meow Coin, actually. Let's check out look at Meow Coin. Let's see, because Meow Coin I heard was going pretty well, right? I'm not mistaken. MEWC. It's up 4.4% today. Interesting. Let's check out the 7-day. Oh wow, it had quite a run up, huh? 0.0002, and now it's at 0.0004. Nice. So it's basically at a 2x. That's pretty cool. Shout out to everybody that's holding Meow Coin. To be honest, it's not for me, but you know, everybody holds different stuff. It's awesome. It's awesome to see how things go. Again, the honey token from Hive Mapper. I'm gonna go do a video today about it. Man, it hit 10 cents yesterday. It's up 11.9% today. It's at 9.5 cents. It's crazy yield for driving in your car, like just having this thing in your car on the way to work. If you guys don't know, Hive Mapper. Oh no, not the logo. Hive Mapper in general. Let's see. I don't even know how much these things are now. Oh look, they have the Pro. $300 actually. It dropped. Wow, these things were 500 when they came out. Interesting. So $300 now. Not too bad, I guess. Not too bad. I mean, especially with the yield. If the yield's gonna stay up, I gotta see. I know Matt Electron made a video and he made like $600 in a week. Absolutely absurd. Couldn't believe it. Max got like $600 from recent trip. Crazy, dude. Nerdbeast, yeah, same thing, dude. Matt Electron, same thing, but he has 2. I don't know how Mr. Max Voltage has his setup. I know Matt Electron's he's got one facing out the front and he's got one facing out the side window, and they both earn at the same time. I like the MEWC project, DigiPedo. Nice, man. Nice. I mean, like I said, certain cryptos, certain people, that one's just not for me personally. I can't mine it. It's Kapow is too hot and it's too much to deal with on my electric rate, so I'm just not interested, to be honest. But no hard feelings against cats. It's just whatever. Nerdbeast, I got $60 from last week just driving to work. Crazy, dude. That's awesome. It's like, why not? If you got it, plug the thing in, drive back and forth. I mean, you get a free crypto. It's all you have to do is swap it right into USDC, right? You can do it right through that Phantom Wallet app. So it's pretty neat. Let's see. Yeah, my question is, why haven't we hit 100 likes on this stream? We have 113 viewers. People are lazy, man. People are lazy. Guys, hit that like button. Appreciate you all. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go raid Mr. Serpent. He is going to be going live. You guys will be directed right over there. Again, Crypto Frank, appreciate you, buddy, for the 20 gifted memberships. You're awesome. I'll be doing a members only giveaway at some point today. So guys, stay tuned for that. I will see you guys later on tonight. Misfit Mining Saturday Night Live. Until then, have a good one, guys, and peace out.